Howdy folks, Spencer here, and today I want to talk to you about bank fleets, what the purpose of them is, why you may want to set one up, and how to set one up. So let's dive right in. Our first topic is, what are bank fleets and what are they used for? As the name might imply, bank fleets are fleets that are used solely for the storage that the fleet bank offers. The fleet bank can store up to 2 billion energy credits and up to 384 unbound items. So with me having just said that, you can hopefully start to get a picture of why these bank fleets are so popular for people that do a lot of trading or have a lot of things that they need to store. But they're not perfect, so I'm going to spend a minute here going over the downsides to a bank fleet. The first downside is that you're not going to have access to any fleet gear, fleet ships, or anything like that on the character that you put into this fleet. You are going to be in a fleet that has no investments into any of the holdings unless you decide you want to build them up. So if you have fleet gear or ships that you're going to want on that character, you'd want to make sure to get them before making the fleet. And the second downside is just a factor you need to consider here, and that is you need to have more than one character in the fleet. Say you ever go out and delete the character that you have in this fleet, or you ever went and accidentally or unintentionally hit the leave fleet button on that character. If that is the only character that's in that fleet, then the fleet will be destroyed and you will lose everything you have put into it. So always make sure you have a second character, whether it's on your main account or on a secondary account in that fleet with the other character, so that if you did ever accidentally leave it or whatever, you still have access to the items you have stored in there. But with those downsides out of the way, I do just want to recap that I don't think that they're that major, and if you have a dedicated trading or storage character, then a bank fleet just makes sense for them. I've got several of these fleets myself that I've set up over the years, and just to give you the raw numbers, the cost to set one of these fleet banks up is only 8,631,000 DC. So it's a very minimal cost for you to get access to 384 storage slots. That's like somewhere between 2 to 3 times what you can put in your personal bank. So it's a lot of storage. And the fact is you can also put EC in there. So if you had each of your trading characters in a bank fleet, you could theoretically have 4 billion energy credits on that character because you'd have 2 billion on the character and then another 2 billion sitting in the bank on that character. So this is just a really good way to just store a lot of things on each character and just to expand your storage capabilities. And finally, we're at the part of the video where I show you how to make a bank fleet, and I would strongly recommend you follow this advice closely. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to the console where you need to make a fleet. I've got the location up for Feds right now. This is in Earth Space Dock in the same area that Admiral Quinn is in. He's down by the glass. And for KDF, I've now got this showing up on the screen, and it is on Quonos, and it is located in the same room where you can buy bridge officer manuals and all that. It's not the best layout over there, but hopefully you can get a general idea from that picture. The second thing you need to do is open the window with the fleet creation officer here, and you need to type in a temporary name. You see I've typed in some random temporary name on the footage I have playing right now. And the third step is going to be to go into zone chat and any public chat channels you have, and you're going to want to look for people that are of the same faction as you. And by faction, I mean anyone aligned to Federation or Klingon, so it doesn't matter if they're Dominion, Romulan, whatever, it just have to be aligned to your faction. You need to ask them to team up with you and to come to your instance. And the fourth step is that as soon as they are in the same instance as you, you hit the button to create the fleet at the NPC I talked about before. You need to be the first at that console and you want to be ready to go. So the moment you have the entire team in that instance, you can create the fleet. If you do not put yourself in a position where you can create the fleet first, then anyone on that team can go up to that NPC and basically snipe this out from under you. They can utilize the team that you just put together to make a fleet for themselves. So you want to be the first one there if you're the one trying to make this fleet, because you want to be the one, that is the owner of it. If someone does snipe it out from under you, then you need to leave that fleet immediately and start over. Now, if you were able to start the fleet up, the first thing you're going to want to do, and this is going to sound like a dick move, is kick everyone out right away. The only person you want in this fleet is yourself. And the reason for this is sometimes when fleets are being created, there are people out there that will intentionally look for people looking to set up a fleet, and they're looking to take advantage of the fleet leadership system, because a lot of people that set up fleets like this might eventually just stop playing, and if you go inactive or you don't log into that specific character for a period of 30 days, then someone else in the fleet will gain access to claim leadership of the fleet, and once they claim leadership, they can take over the fleet, steal all the items, and kick you out. So I don't care if they're being really nice, get them out of there. This is a bank fleet, it's not a real fleet, it's not one that's ever going to be developed. Just get those people out of there. If you do not follow this advice and you have items stolen from you a year or two from now, it's on you. And now that you've got the fleet set up and you've got everyone else out of there, go ahead and invite one of your own alternate characters, because as I mentioned earlier, you want to have that secondary layer of security in the fleet in case you ever accidentally left on this character. You can also invite a secondary account if you have one set up. That's what I've done with a lot of my bank fleets. And the next step after this is going to be to go to a bank terminal and deposit 8,631,000 energy credits into the fleet bank. Once you have the EC into the fleet bank, you should see that the new repository button at the bottom has lit up. You're going to hit that 7 times and unlock every one of the repositories. Now you can go through and change the permissions, but you shouldn't really need to, being it's a bank fleet. Everything is set up so that only you, the owner, can access it, and I would probably just leave it that way. And the last thing that I would say to do is to make sure to go through and promote your secondary character or the other account that you have in this fleet so it can also access the fleet bank. But that is it for this video, so hopefully this has been helpful to some of you out there. Hopefully it's given you an idea of why people like myself that do a lot of trading and just have a lot of items utilize fleets in this way. It's a very good storage method, and hopefully, this helps some of you get one set up yourself. But that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.